Hello guys, I'm Darien with a Vanguard deck profile. This is my Bermuda Triangle deck, Raindeer. I'm going to get started by showing you guys my starting Vanguard, which is 2 copies of Colorful Smiling Fratte. I don't like saying that really. But I run 2 of these in my deck because one will start out, but you play it, but I always want a secondary copy so that I can get its really effective effect where you counterblast 1 and put it into the soul. You get to take a card from your field, your rear guard, probably a card that you've already attacked with, and you return that to hand, and then you play 2. It's a very good way of getting another attack out. Put this aside. Let's go to my grade 3. Sorry, I've been stuttering. But I'm running 4 copies of Velvet Voice Raindeer in this deck. This is kind of a half boss for this deck, kind of. It's very effective to have on your Vanguard when you have Peaceful Voice Raindeer, which will be the next card I show. But I only run 8 grade 3s in this deck. I have 2 of the promos, but it doesn't really matter which version you have because they all do the same thing. But if you get a grade 3 during your drive check, it basically lets you choose up to one of your Bermudas from your hand and call it to rear guard. Next grade 3 is Peaceful Voice Raindeer. This is one of the cards that came from Vanguard of Divas. It's a triple rare. It basically works a lot better if you play it on rear guard first, because if you get a grade 3, during your drive checks you can, or if it has Raindeer in its name, you can put it onto your Vanguard. It's a very effective way of getting more drive checks during a turn. All right, that concludes my grade 3s. Now my grade 2s, I run 2 copies of Unbeliever Girl Potpourri, just for getting more cards for my grade 2s. This card's just really good because you get to choose rear guards and return them to your hand if this is in Harmony, which this basically only has to be the only card in Harmony. So it's effective. And then I run 3 copies of Admired Sparkle Spica, just for the effects of when this unit attacks Vanguard. If this is boosted when you're on G-Break 1, I may pay the cost of Counterblast 1. If I do, choose a card, one of my rear guards, return it to your hand, choose up to 1 card from your hand, call it to rear guard, and that gets plus 3,000. So this gives a nice boost when you finally either use a G-Guardian or if you stride. Nice foil. This is another grade 2. I run a lot of grade 2s in this deck because a couple of the cards act as grade 3s, like this one. This one is basically Inspect Sisters Roble. Basically is to be a grade 3 in this deck. I don't really use its effect very often, but if I do, you Soul Blast 1 and put this on the bottom of my deck, and then you can I can draw a card, and then I shuffle my deck. So basically, it adds another grade 3 back to the deck if Raindeer is my Vanguard. The next card, this was actually a kind of difficult card to get, even though I got them all from Jacob. You know who Jacob is. But Ideal Walking Weather Amelia. This has resist, and if this is returned to my hand from rear guard, I can draw a card by Counterblast 1 at G-Break 1. All right, moving on to my grade 1s. This is my perfect guard. It's not really specific to any deck. It's just a good one to have. Run 4, Miracle Twin-Tail Weiss. It was a nice looking card from Vanguard of Divas. Another grade 1 that I have, this serves as a grade 3 while Reindeer, a card with Reindeer in its name is on my Vanguard. It's Dash Sister's Rabble, or however you say her name. I can put this on the bottom of my deck when my drive check reveals a grade 3 when this is on rear guard, and if my Vanguard has a Reindeer in its name, draw a card and then shuffle my deck and counterblast one. Countercharge. All right, the next grade 1s I have are Piping Hot Suifa. This gets to boost Velvet Voice Reindeer. This is a good one to run right under the Vanguard, but this card gets to move around if my grade check reveals a grade 3 and if I have a Vanguard with Reindeer in its name. So I get to move this card around. It's kind of a confusing effect. I'm still trying to figure it out completely. So if you know how to use this card completely, please let us know in the comments. This card is confusing me like crazy. All right, my grade 0s that are not my starting Vanguard. I run 4 heal triggers. Doesn't really matter which ones that you run in this deck. I just like to run 4 of the same just because it creates parity. And then my critical triggers, I run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I run 10 critical triggers. It's a good number to run in this deck. It's just a mess of a bunch of different cards. But I do run Gunslinger Star Floridas, 2 of those, Impact Punch Michiru, I'm butchering that name, at 4. Morning Impact Lips at 4, and that's it for those. And then I run 2 stand triggers. Jump on the Water Amelia. She has a nice effect that if she's in harmony, and I'm at G-Break 1, that I get to put this into the soul, draw a card, and choose one of my rear guards, and it gets plus 2,000 attack until the end of turn, so this is a very effective card to have. Now to move on to my G-Zone, I have 5 G Guardians. It doesn't really make sense, but I like to have the choice to either, if I want to run all of my hand-in-hand Leonas or a Sailor's Medley Nasha in that. I need more copies of this Nasha, but I run a lot of G Guardians because I'm just trying to make filler for this deck right now. This G zone is not complete yet. I only have 1 copy of Lucky Rise Elprina. She's a Soul Blast 1. Choose card, 2 of my rear guards are turned into my hand, which is quite nice because then I can play them and I can get effects if I return cards to hand. Then I run 4 copies of Fluffy Ribbon Somni, however you say her name. But I run this at 4 because why not? This card's incredibly common as a rare. I found way too many copies of this when I was pulling a lot of the Academy of Divas set. Legend of the Glass Shoe Amoris. She's effective. That when I place this on Vanguard, choose 2 of my rear cards and return them to my hand, which is free this time, which is quite nice. So any effects on my rear guards that say, if this card's returned to hand, this is a nice card. And then I just run 2 copies of Flying Mermaid Frederica, even though I have way too many copies of this from Banquet, because I then again said I spent way too much money on this set. But this card isn't really that effective for this deck, but if it's in harmony, when this unit attacks, hits a Vanguard, I pay the cost of choosing a card from my G-Zone and turning it face up. That's kind of why I run more G Guardians. Call it to rear guard, choose one of your rear guards, and until the end of the turn, it gets continuous. This unit is in harmony, this unit gets plus 5,000. So that about wraps up my deck build for my Reindeer deck. If you like this deck or if you like this video, just hit the like button. Also, hit the subscribe button. You don't want to miss the next deck profiles or matches or the podcast, so it would benefit yourself. So thanks for watching. See you later.